baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
All right. What is up, fam? We are back. Another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, as always, Steve Rochelle, being joined by this guy on my right, Mr. Zachary Burr. Zach, how you feeling this afternoon, brother? What's you feeling like?
Oh, we're chilling.
We got a lot to
5
unpack.
games.
We got a lot to unpack. We got a lot to unpack.
Look! I wear this to keep my hair in order whenever I umpire, because we can't be looking like Shaggy out there. So. I umpired 5 games today. Got 6 more tomorrow. I guess it's just going to be bad. Oh,
Love it. We got a lot of stuff coming for you tonight. We got Otis Nixon coming on here in a few minutes. We're gonna do a little jersey giveaway for the premium members. Always taking care of our fam. Jumaine Jones is gonna be joining us tonight. We got my man Sean Shorty Rock Santella ahead of his Brave 55 fight going over there to Russia. He's gonna be hopping on in the second hour. We got our man Alan Foy debuting the coach's corner in the last half of that hour. We still got a lot of stuff to unpack on top of that. In between all that, fam, make sure you're hopping in on the chat. Let us know how you feel. This is going to be a fun one tonight. And with that being said, let me not forget about letting you guys know, this show is always brought to you by EXP Realty. And like always, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you're looking to change your career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of EXP Realty LLC at 302-682-8820, or visit him at Alan Foy at exprealty.com. How you feeling, brother? Big time's up in the house. He knows what it is. He knows what it is tonight. How you feeling? How you feeling though?
Action packed. How am I feeling? Gorgeous,
yes, sir.
like always.
All right, and obviously, the Braves and Dodgers are going at it. Get game 6 right. We also got a little guy who has a little background with the Braves there. Mr. Otis Nixon should be joining us here in a few minutes. I think he's just getting a few things situated there in the back. It's going to be a fun one. Otis is one of the, I think, underrated base runners of the early 90s.
Yeah, it was a great utility player on those Braves teams of the 90s when they were building their dynasty. Kind of a pain in our butt at times, seemed like, if you were a Phillies fan of that era. Just a guy that every winning baseball club needed a guy like Otis Nixon on their team. He was valuable in a lot of different ways.
He definitely was, and I want to get your thought on this poll, man. Obviously, we're game 6 now. Will the Braves earn their 10th trip tonight for the World Series? What are you feeling? How are you feeling on the poll, brother?
And if this is not like an anti-Braves thing, I think people will be like, "Oh, I can't root for the Braves as a Philly." It's not that, because I actually really like what the Braves have built. Like, if I could look at an organization and be like, man, I would love to be them. I mean, like, the way the Braves have built things, look at all the young players that they've got, coming through their system, and kind of always been that way, right? They've always developed young talent. I'd love to be, them and be able to develop, talent and be the organization that they are. But I think the Dodgers are slowly trending and maybe are finally at a point where they kind of have that that Yankees feel to them, those 70s Yankees that played in 8 different World Series, the 90s Yankees.
All right,
that were always there every year.
Don't want to cut you off, but I think Otis is ready. So let's bring him on and
we know who Otis is going to be going with. We know who Otis is riding with tonight.
You got
We're excellent. And with that being said, everyone, let's welcome my friend Otis Nixon to the show. Really appreciate it. You know, we've been working and trying to get at it. Obviously, I think Game 6 is a fitting way to kick this thing off, right, my friend?
Well, I was just talking to my secretary, Kathleen, and I said, I had twins in 1992, sixth game of the World Series. I had identical twins. I didn't believe it, but it actually did. And so that was a big moment for me. And guys, I'm going to break the ice here, but I played for both the Dodgers and the Braves. So it's thumbs up for me right now, brother. Atlanta. And thank you for having me on the show tonight.
Oh, it's definitely a pleasure, Otis. Appreciate the time. I want to definitely, get your insight right now. How you feeling? This one's gonna go. You think Atlanta's gonna exercise the demons of last year and not let this one up and put them away?
I would like to see them win it tonight, but if they don't, I love the edge of being in the last game, pulling it off, and see. That would spike the whole world. Biggest ticket in the world.
Yeah, Game 7's always fun. Game 7 and NLCS. I mean, it's not the World Series, but I mean, it's definitely fun. Us Philly fans know some love and heartbreak, and some of them make or break a game. So
Who's a Philly fan on here?
We all are. We all are.
Yeah, come on, man.
Thanks for telling me, because I don't know if I'd have took this interview if I'd have known that back in the day.
Oh man.
Wow.
I'll tell you what. You know what's weird? Like in Philly, I think most of our rivals, like the Cowboys, we hate the Braves, right? Teams like that, right? But I don't know if we ever really hated the Braves as much as it was more of a mutual respect with you guys. I don't know how you guys necessarily felt about us. Maybe the Braves hated us. But I can tell you on the Philly end, I don't know if there was ever hate as much as there was just, man, they're really fucking good. And I wish we could be that good.
Back then, Lenny Dykstra, the Phillies was the team to beat back then, man. But it was a war. He had the biggest fight in the history of baseball against the Phillies in Atlanta. I don't know if you guys remember that.
It was a nasty brawl.
Yeah, a very nasty brawl. I was involved in. I charged the mound, got suspended for 4 days, and because of the fight, they hit me twice. Why would they be throwing after me? I'm doing my job, stealing bases, and they start throwing. They hit me the first time, and I told the umpire, I said, the guy's trying to hit me. And if he does, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna kick his butt. So
we'll hit him back.
Bobby Ritchie, he hits me in the knee. And before Darren,
Dalton. Dalton was our guy.
Dutch. We love Dutch here.
I turned around and looked at him and charged him on, jumped in the air like Kung Fu and kicked him. We fought for at least 15. That's a long time to fight in baseball. And I got suspended for 4 games. So after we left there, we went to Phillies. I remember it like yesterday. First pitch, they actually, when they said Otis Nixon, from the Atlanta Braves, starting off playing, and they announced my name, the whole stadium booed me for the whole entire bat. I couldn't hear nothing but boo, like I was the only one playing on the team. You
had to feel like you had made it at that point. I mean, that's almost like that badge of I've made it now. Look at me getting booed by Phillies fans.
Whole team. The next pitch, what you think happened the first pitch? I got hit in the back of the neck, brother. That thing hurt so bad, and I started to run to the mound. And I remember like yesterday, I looked in the dugout. All 12, they had 12 guys lined up, ready to charge me. I said, I think I better go down first base and not go out here and charge the mound. Remember like yesterday. How'd I give you a little insight?
Especially that group of, that Phillies team, right? That 93 squad.
That was the fighting Phils.
Dykstra, Dave Hollins. You probably didn't want to fight most of those guys.
Yeah, that was Macho Row. Yeah,
that was a tough group.
They had a pitcher named Bigfoot. He was standing there. He was a relief pitcher, and I saw his foot hanging out the dugout. His foot was like he had a 14-size shoe, 15-size. I probably got music one. I'm actually doing interviews around the city. Did you guys see the tomahawk that I got in the back of my truck?
No, I mean you sent me a few pictures a few hours ago. I was skimming through. Well, you got something to show us now?
But anyhow, I got the largest tomahawk in the back of my truck. I sent you a picture of
Yeah,
it
yeah.
from city to city, town to town. It's the largest in the United States. We got Herschel Walker, Chipper Jones. All the fans are signing it up. So we got a lot of stuff riding on this series, guys. And you said it earlier about the baseball team and the team that we got now. These kids remind me of us in the 90s when we had primetime Deion Sanders, David Jefferson, Brian Dan, the pitching staff we had with Maddox and Glavine guys. This is what they remind me of. And I was talking to Chipper yesterday. Chipper told me to tell you guys hello and go Braves. Okay.
Thanks, Chipper. It's all good, brother. Listen, like as much as like Philadelphia fans are hard on guys when they come in here. When you guys come to play and you guys play with respect, you guys earn respect of fans. And I think that's something that people tend to forget. Like, yeah, we're hard on guys, and like, you know, if you're going after our guys, we're gonna say our guys. You know, you're the one that's fault. It's your thing. That's the way fans are. But I think one thing, like over time, like I think Philadelphia fans do overall, you know, respect some of these guys that, you know, we might have booed you, but like I said, we have you on here. You know, we booed Chipper. We'd have guys like Chipper on and stuff like that. What you got right here?
We used to boo Chipper out of love. That was a big game. You know, we used to boo Chipper because it was fun. It was like.
I got to introduce you guys that came over here from
Bulgaria.
He was 14 years old. He's been the biggest fan. I came out tonight. I'm at his bar. He runs one of the nicest ones. I go around and get everybody signed. The only reason he's standing, he just walked in. And I want you to turn around and show him what you're wearing.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But Chris Tucker actually signed that for him and everything. Thank you, sir.
Chris Tucker. Yeah.
There you go.
Now that would be a great interview.
Well,
Chris is a fun guy, definitely.
He's funny. We was together the other day, and you have to. He keeps you laughing the whole time, and to have him and Shaq together.
Oh man,
guys,
Chris Tucker just seems like a genuinely, like some people like it seems like they're funny is forced. Chris Tucker just seems like a dude that's just genuinely a good time to hang out with.
You want to laugh, brother. He was with me the other day. He helps me, and I will say this: I got one of the largest foundations where I help kids and stuff, and with my foundation, which Steve knows about.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
We've grown guys and everything. So I got Chipper and Charles Barkley and Charles Oakley. I had to have these two guys separated because Charles was like, Otis, I used to watch you when I was growing up. I said, what you trying to call me, old? I said, first, you cannot run me, and you cannot talk me. I cannot talk you any day, anytime. That was Charles Barkley.
Oh, I definitely could see him saying that.
So you played. You played for both Tommy Lasorda and Bobby Cox, right?
I played for both guys, and also I played for Boston, who's also in it. Dusty's like a second brother to me. That's all in it. So I got a lot riding on here. They got me in 1997, I think it was. Tommy Lasorda had me. They was trying to get in the pennant race. He came and got me from.
Who was more fun to play with? I've heard some great Tommy Lasorda stories. I'm a baseball umpire, and I've had some old veteran guys that I've talked to tell me.
You want me to tell you about what Tommy told me when he first got me? He got me.
Go ahead. Tell me a Tommy Lasorda story.
Well, he got me. He said, Otis, you know, I'm bringing you over here to win. He come in, I walk in, and I look at him, and he's got his arms like this. He said, Otis, welcome to the major leagues. I said, guys, has Tommy been drinking? He said, no, son, I hear what you said. You finally made it to the major leagues. There's only one team, Dodger Blue and the Dodgers. Welcome home. That's when I played for Tommy in 1997. Then the Braves came back and got me. So it was love. I played for Bobby Cox, one of the greatest managers, and playing for Tommy Lasorda was one of the greatest moments in my life. He's a great man.
I've heard stories that like Tommy Lasorda would go out and argue with umpires, and and it wouldn't even be an argument as much as it was a conversation about where they're both going to go have dinner later that night.
No,
Like,
it
was that him?
It wasn't about where they was going. It was who was going to pay for the tab.
Who's going to pay for the check?
Hey, Steve, I got 5 minutes. I have to go to the stadium. They're going to bring me on to the stadium. If I get a chance, I'm going to click back over.
Okay, do what you got to do. If you want to hop back on that's fine. Notice I know you got other engagements.
Great show, brother. Great show. I got 1.5 million followers tonight. Aaron in that's going to follow me right now as we do what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Thank you for the donation for the foundation.
Absolutely, and also we're also going to do this giveaway tonight on air. So anyone who's a premium member, I'm also going to do another one. Anyone who misses out tonight, I still have a few more items for Otis. Anyone who donates to his foundation that either screenshot, DMs me, whatever, you enter you in for another prize. So we're going to do a double whammy on that one. Go do what you got to do, Otis. If we get you back, that'd be great. If not, we'll catch up soon.
Go Braves.
Go Braves. All right. I appreciate your time, Otis.
I'm cool with it.
All right. He, obviously, he's getting ready to do something there at the stadium. Otis hopped in. Hopefully we'll get him back on before Jumaine hops on, or even when we get it, when we have Jumaine on, that might be fun, because if I remember correctly, they have also done like some of their charities have kind of crossed over. Obviously, Jermaine's got some stuff going on next weekend as well, so that should also be fun. Dude, Daly, he's like you missed it. He said he's coming back. He's at the stadium. They're getting ready to do something with him right now.
Yeah, he's got to be a part of some type of ceremony. I don't know. What would be? This is it's the 20th anniversary of the '91 team that didn't.
I think
go
the
to
'92
World
team.
Series.
No, I think it was the '92 team, wasn't it?
The '92 team, went to the World Series and lost to the Blue Jays. No, the '91 team I think went as well and lost to the Twins or somebody. Didn't they?
Yeah, I think it was the Twins.
So yeah, it would have been the 20-year anniversary of that '91 team that lost to the Twins, which was the Game 7 series where Jack Morris and John Smoltz dueled it out, wasn't it? So maybe it's got something to do with that. I don't know. 20-year anniversary of that pennant team.
It's good. Listen. We got a lot of fun stuff going on between here. The giveaways, our guests. Obviously, like I said, we got a lot to unpack. We still got some fun stuff to talk about. Anything you immediately want to get out there right now before we switch gears, into something else before Otis or Jumaine hops on.
I mean, Atlanta was up 3-1 last year, right? And
yeah, this is why I was saying, does this team this year exercise those demons of last year? That's why I was saying
what happens if they don't? What happens if they choke away another 3-1 lead? Now all of a sudden, is that a thing? Is that something that you get labeled with that moniker of
you can't close it out?
Yeah, and that was kind of the label that the Braves of the '90s got given, where they finally won the World Series in '95, but it was one of those things where they went in '91 and lost, went in '92 and lost, right? Get there in '95, you finally win. '96 you lose, '98 or '99 you lose. They had a lot of opportunities and only come away with one World Series championship, and it kind of became one of those things, And the Dodgers have a chance to come back from a 3-1 and go back-to-back World Series. They're this close. When you look at that Dodgers team, it almost is the closest thing we've seen to a Yankees type of consistency. If you go back to those Steinbrenner Yankees, they're that close to being that type of organization, right? Where dude, every year back in the '90s with Steinbrenner Yankees, be they're or early 2000s even, you'd be they're going to be really good again this year. Look at all the pieces they've added. Look at all the guys they've got, and the Dodgers are that team now. There's one deep in the right field and off the wall. It's just a 2-out double, so who cares? It looked like it was about to go out of there. It was hit well, and if it goes out, it would be 1-0. Instead, it's a double with nobody on it, 2 outs. But yeah, I mean the Dodgers think about and then they go if they go back to the World Series and go back to back, you're talking about a whole different sort of of conversation. There's been how many different. been a long time since somebody's gone back to back, right? You have to go back to those Yankees teams to get to somebody that went back to back, right?
Yeah, I mean, how are you feeling with this one? You feeling that the Dodgers have kind of stolen the momentum, and they maybe the team that could do it, or
the Dodgers are dangerous. Everybody, I mean, the Dodgers, like it's one of those things. I feel like you always keep your foot on their throat, right? Like you're never like trying to let them back into anything because you know how good they are, but they're just that good, and they're going to find their way back into it just because they're that good. You know, you got to close out tonight. I mean, just you don't want to see Game 7 if you're Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you're just like, you know, you're up 3-1. You know, it's 2 years in a row, right? Like it's your assholes are puckered tight as hell. You get the Game 7. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the night you got to do it, or you're in rough shape. And I mean, I kind of like the pitching matchup tonight for the Dodgers. It got Walker Buehler going against Anderson. Anderson's had a good year, but he's a young pitcher, a young arm for the Braves. He's not on Walker Buehler's level. You know, Walker Buehler is, you know, a pimp. You know, he's, you know, he's one of the top pitchers in the game. So the Dodgers have the right guy going. Everybody was shocked by the Scherzer news that he wasn't going to go tonight. Okay, how awesome is it that Max Scherzer can't go and you just pull Walker? Oh, that's fine. Walker Buehler's going to throw then.
I guess they had the confidence in the matchup, and they feel even if they lose it, they Max.
This is what happens when you got a bunch of championship horses in the stable, right? Like you got this many studs in the stable. You know, okay, that's fine. Scherzer, you know, we don't need to throw him. Buehler can pitch, and then Scherzer can maybe throw Game 7 if you need him to. But I mean, you know, the Dodgers are just any arm they throw at you is good. They got the other kid, the young fireballer. Pitched the other night from Venezuela, wherever he's from. He's got phenomenal stuff, and he's just absolutely electric. He's just like, you know, we can't have one of those guys, Steven, and the Dodgers have like 4 of them. Yeah, he did. I
mean, is that the other painful thing, like watching the Braves, watching the Dodgers right now?
Watching both of these teams, yes.
I mean, is that the other thing that hurts being a Phillies fan right now? Is watching these teams like, man.
Right now, I mean, I you know, I've been saying this for a long time. I mean, wait till Alan gets on. Alan will remember me saying this shit in high school, and, you know, at the end of that, like the 2011, 2012, when you kind of like see the team getting old fast, and you're like, man, in the left field, giving chase, not going to get it over the wall for a ground roll double, so 1-0 Atlanta. Well, there you go. So, but yeah, I mean. You know, I remember when this team was getting old fast with J-Roll and Chase and Ryan, and you're just like, you know, as much as you love all those guys, Jimmy's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame here, you know, at some point in the next. I think
the thing that got everyone. I think it's the fact that Ryan fell off a cliff so fast.
Ryan started slowing down, and then tore his Achilles and everything. I mean, it ruined everything in his career. Chase got the degenerative knee issue, right, and there was a few years there where he had. You know, a degenerative knee problem that looked like it was going to derail his career to the point where we didn't even think he was going to, like, you know, his you know, what he did when he went to the Dodgers and kind of like had that career resurgence. Like we never thought that was going to happen. He looked like somebody that was going to, you know, have to retire young because of degenerative, you know, knee problems and things like that. And you're like, man, like how many great athletes have had issues like this, you know? And Jimmy, you know, Jimmy never really got hurt. He just, you know, at some point got old, just like every great player gets old. And, you know, and for whatever reason, that team was kept together for too long, and you kind of saw it wasn't, you know, the problem wasn't that they were together and that they were old, and you're like, you know, they're not what they were. It's that you knew you had nothing behind them to replace them. You know, the problem isn't that we're still trying to go win with these guys. It's that, like, look in the minor league system and we have nothing. You know, Dominic Brown was the only guy, and he fizzled out just as quick as he was a thing. And he kind of knew that was like he was never going, like he wasn't like, you know, you looked at Dom Brady and said, okay, cool, you know. Good kid, nice prospect, but you know, he was the top prospect in baseball there for what, like a 6-month period. But even then, you never really felt like, you know, he was going to be this special player. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to be some franchise changing type of player. He just, that guy will fit in pretty well with all the other, you know, good pieces that we have around. You know, but it got, think about how ugly it got in a hurry, circa 2013 or so, you know, and you realize there's just nothing in this organization. And it's been, what, the better part of 10 years? and we still haven't been able to develop nothing.
Looks like Jumaine's in the back. You ready to talk some basketball, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right. So getting ready to switch gears from baseball for right now to basketball, as looks like our second guest is in the back here. So let's welcome back our friend Jumaine Jones to A2D Radio and the weekly roundup. How we doing tonight, Jumaine? Can you hear us?
Is he frozen? There he is. He's kind of choppy. In and out, coming in and out.
Yeah, I think he might be a little frozen.
You with us, Jumaine? We got you now?
I guess let's give him a minute. But with that for right now, let's get a minute to see if that popped back up. But with that, you want to talk a little basketball with this stuff that's going on right now, or what? All right.
Well, I'll start by saying this. How about I love Daryl Morey? How about that?
How you doing, Jumaine?
I'm good. What's going on?
There he is.
We're good. How you feeling tonight, man?
I'm good, man. It's funny. I'm talking to you guys. I'm down at Live Casino. I was downstairs with Allen Iverson.
You're just talking to Alan. You couldn't say hi for us.
Hold on. Alan's allowed on. Wait a minute here. Wait, whoa.
That's cold, Jumaine. That's cold.
Alan goes way back with our boss. I'll tell you what. I
don't think it's a surprise he was just on the casino floor with him. I mean, that's probably the unsurprising part about that, right?
Same place our boss was with him at one point, Steven.
Exactly. We just had Otis on. He was he was like backstage doing something, getting ready to do some ceremony. So, and y'all two cross paths every now and again.
Hey, Otis always into something, man.
We think they're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the 91 NLCS champion team that he was on, but he said we were talking to him, and then he said that they had to do something with him tonight. The Braves game, the Braves Dodgers game, the Braves needed to do something with him at the stadium. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, but he couldn't reveal any details.
So how about you? How do you guys wind up crossing paths with your charities? Because I know both of you guys do a lot of work.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff with the youth.
Oh, losing them again. That's not good. See if we get him a second here to hop back in.
What did you do, Steven?
He's hopping back in here.
I've got a cheesy gordita crunch.
How's up, Jimmy?
Okay, this may be better.
There you go. I can hear you just fine.
All right.
You sound good. You sound clear. Your sounds good this time. You hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. So, I guess picking right back up where we were at, like how do you and Otis is, I know both of you guys do a lot of charities that kind of cross section each other every now and again. How do you guys wind up running into each other?
Well, me being in Atlanta, he being in Atlanta, man, Atlanta's pretty small, so you're gonna run into each other, quite a bit when you're out running around doing a lot of stuff in the community. So me and Otis, the first thing that we linked on was actually the mental health gala that I did back in, actually it was during the pandemic, and that was last year in December. He came along to do that event with me, and once that came along, we've been doing a lot of stuff out in the community together. Signings, going and speaking to kids, doing, public speaking with the youth, and speaking about, a lot of mental health things, within athletes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
You know,
I
the
mean,
first
and,
thing.
and even more so, like it's coming even more prevalent. We have like a mental health care sponsor for us over here at H2D. It's coming even more prevalent here in Philadelphia as Lane Johnson's missed a few games over the past few weeks. We're getting him back Sunday because he had some mental things that he had to deal with that he's been kind of just shouldering on his own. And I really don't think there's any shame to that. And there was people that made some allegations, on social media, and this is kind of the thing that's nuts about it is like you're always seeing people rip apart the hard parts, but then like I want to get your take on what the other side of that right now. Obviously, Ben Simmons in Philadelphia is kind of getting to a volatile point in their relationship. It's getting to people are trying to compare it to like the T.O. situation. I don't think that is even relevant to this one. I think this is kind of a completely different animal. What would you do if like literally if you're Daryl Morey, like put on your GM hat for a second? How would you try to handle this?
Well, I mean, I think it's bigger than, I think Ben actually needs to see like a sports psychologist with the issues that he's having. But, when you're talking about a relationship with somebody like, Joel Embiid, who has a mission of trying to win a championship, and then you have somebody like Ben Simmons that don't want to be there, then, you can see with him, the frustration when he's trying to accomplish something and then somebody else is saying that they don't want to be there. I know if I was Embiid, I would definitely be like, listen, and I've been this on the outside looking in, like, okay, why we keep talking about Ben Simmons? Why aren't we talking about who his replacement is going to be, who we're trying to go after to make this trade? Like, I need to know who's coming in to be able to replace him so that can help me get back on the page of only thinking about people that actually want to be in this locker room. So, for me, that
and
would
that's
be
kind of like where I'm at. Like we can already see like what's been said. You said there's nothing to their relationships is run their course. All right, if your relationship running the course, why are we having this conversation? Him trying to even be in the locker room. That I mean, listen, like if it's run its course, why are we playing this whole facade?
Absolutely, and that's the tough thing about it,
Yeah, because the other side of it is now the other Sixer teammates have to be professional when this guy is regardless if we feel that it's out of malice. Listen, we but listen, we can't sit there and say he isn't having an overall mental health issue. I'm not sitting there saying like the back injuries kind of nonsense. If it's mental health, just say it's mental health.
He's just trying to make excuses.
Well,
I
just think that he's in a place. I'm not sure what happened where he decides that he doesn't want to be in Philadelphia. I mean, me knowing and been around the Philadelphia area, that's something that you really can't tell the fans here. I remember playing with Matt Geiger that actually said that the Philly fans are fair weather fans, and from that time they booed him every time that they thought that he wanted to go into the game. And it was funny because people used to cheer when I got in the game. And one game I go to the check in and they booing. And I looked behind me and Matt Geiger was there. So, I mean, I just think that, with him, I think it's, people saying it's mental health issues. I think it's just him that need to actual meet with a sports psychologist that can help him get over the fact of being scared to shoot the basketball. That's what I think.
You think that's a legitimate thing, like sports psychologist? Like he could go to some place like that and they can tap into that and fix that?
I think that's the only place that he can go to that can tap into that is going to a sports psychologist that can talk to him about because he can everybody has a fear of something. And it's obviously his fear is the shooting the basketball. And
everybody's motivated differently, right? Like everybody's kind of wired differently upstairs.
Right. And if you if you think about it, in his defense, I mean, they paid him $100-something million not to shoot the basketball.
In his mind, that probably is how he's looking at it. He's like, hey, you guys gave me all this money to do what I do.
And my whole career, y'all gave me $100-something million to not shoot the basketball because that's what you paid me for. So now you want me to shoot the basketball and that. I never even thought that Ben Simmons was the issue. To be honest, 100% honest, I don't think he was the issue. I think there's a lot of fault in the preparation of the players. And because if you think about it, whenever the Sixers last year played teams like Boston and Milwaukee, they were smacking those teams. But then they'll go to Charlotte and lose by 20. That was the issue that I think, and that comes with preparation. I think that comes with the coaching staff that needs to get better. And I think that Doc is a great coach, but I think that he had a lot of help with the teams that he's had because they was veteran players who can adjust and be able to do that. Now he's with younger players where that you can actually have to coach.
Let us know how you feel, Jumaine. Let us know how you feel. Tell everybody how it is.
Listen, I love it because this week we're all about holding people accountable.
Everybody got to be held accountable.
You know what I love about it is because everybody's going to sit on here on ATD over the next few weeks, the next month, and bash Ben Simmons and talk all the shit. And you know what? You're like, I'm not afraid to defend him. I'm going to tell you how I think the situation is and why I think it's everybody's fault. And there's so much more to this than just Ben Simmons being a prima donna. And you know what? You've been in the game. This is what I want. I wanted your opinion as a player, as somebody that shared locker rooms with different players. This is what I wanted, your honest opinion on this. I love the fact that we've got Jumaine O'Neal on defending Ben Simmons, or Jumaine O'Neal. Excuse me. I'm ahead of myself.
Jumaine Jones.
Jumaine Jones defending Ben Simmons. Look.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want Jumaine O'Neal on here. Trust me, I do not want that. I'd rather have Jermaine Jones. No, because my thing was what I wanted to bring up to you for that, Jumaine, was you playing with Alan, and you mentioned Alan obviously being such a gamer. How does somebody, when you're in a locker room and you see kind of both sides of that, right? You see one guy, man, this guy's such a gamer, never gonna, eats, sleeps, breathes, dies basketball, right? This is his life. And then a guy with Ben, where you're like, it's clearly not that for him, and he's wired differently. I feel like there'd be times if I was a teammate, I might want to fight him in the locker room just because
that's the thing too. I mean, I just had this conversation. It's funny. I was just having this conversation with one of Allen Iverson's friends that's downstairs. That people must understand. Everybody's brought different. He's from Australia. He's from Australia. He has a different culture. He's not built like most people that's in the NBA. Allen Iverson came from a difficult situation where he felt like everything about his life, he had to fight and grind for it. So that comes out into his game. Everything about Allen Iverson's game proves about how he was raised and how he fight every possession. You know what I mean? Ben Simmons is from Australia. It's different over there. It's different in Australia. The culture is different. Yes, they do baby their kids a little more than, what we may get babied over here. It's just different.
Different than a kid growing up in Chicago or a place like that and making it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with that. I think that's probably his biggest thing having to deal with Philadelphia is kind of that aspect of it, because I guess we expect him to be this different person, but we still haven't realized that sometimes there's still a cultural difference from coming from Australia, being brought up in a different manner. He's still obviously learning how to kind of like grow up in kind of a grittier situation, being in Philadelphia too.
Absolutely. And think about this too. This goes back to Allen Iverson. When you had Larry Brown, who's an old school coach, it was tough for him to coach Allen Iverson, because he has his way, which is old school, and then you got a new, younger person in Allen Iverson that comes in that has his competitive nature about how he wins. So now, it's a little bit difficult to even coach a younger generation when you're accustomed to dealing with, older guys. Larry Brown had this thing about not playing younger players, and that was why, because it's hard for him to coach the younger generation. And if you think about Doc, this is a newer generation. This is new for Doc. Doc is old school. You know what I mean? It's harder to coach the younger generation now. You got to put more into it. What does it take? I don't know. That's for the coaches to figure that out.
So are you a fan of Daryl Morey? coming out and saying, listen, if this thing takes 4 years, it takes 4 years, which I personally love. And Stephen will tell you, I've been somebody that's been consistent over the past few months of this idea that I'm not just going to trade Ben Simmons for a new bag of basketballs just because this idea that he's run its course and we're all frustrated with the situation. I'm not trading him for a new sweat mop boy. I'll sit here and hold on to the guy until I feel like I'm getting fair value back. You seem to be a fan of that idea.
Well, I'm 100% on what he's doing, but then again, I think his decision has to be made because now you're dealing with a whole lot that's in the locker room when your goal is to try to win a championship. So do you still want this dead weight hanging around that's kind of screwing up the locker room? And all these questions after every game, you got to listen to people still asking about Ben Simmons. I mean, I even went to something earlier in the year. And, and people wanted to ask questions, and the whole interview process was about Ben Simmons. And I couldn't understand why nobody asked a question on about who are we trying to get for Ben Simmons? Why are we keep asking about Ben?
I mean, like if it's clearly we're getting rid of him, find the best package. Let's stop 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 the bleeding, please. Cut it off, cauterize it. Let's get this done and over with.
If the best package is Buddy Hield and who's the kid out there that the Kings are trying to get rid of, who's pretty much in the similar situation to Simmons, they got the contract, Bagley, right? Bagley. If the best package is Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley, okay, well then pull the trigger. Hield can shoot from the perimeter, and maybe Bagley just needs a change of scenery, and you see what happens with a young kid with some upside.
Absolutely, but look what
I
Bagley
probably won't do that deal. Jumaine, would you do that deal?
Bagley, I don't know, man. I think I need much more than that.
I need a pick. I need a pick.
I would definitely. Ben's an all-star. I need an all-star in return. I need an all-star.
But that's why I keep sitting there saying they need somebody. They need a third party. They need a third party.
Yeah, it does seem like one of those. I
wouldn't give them up for a bag of chips. No, I wouldn't definitely do that, because if your goal is to try to win a championship, then you really need to take your time and really evaluate. What's the best deal to be able to get them. But I think a deal has to be done sooner than later, because the further you go along with it, you're going to have that turmoil in your locker room, which you don't want, and that can ruin everything that you're trying to accomplish, when we were just right there where we can get to a championship, because I thought last year was the year to win it.
I did too. Me and Zach said it. Me and Zach said it. Like everyone would still. There was guys that made like I already said, we have to deal with the Nets. They're definitely going to be a better team this year. I still think people are still sleeping on the Knicks too. That I still think they can put something together. They weren't just a sleeper team last year. Everyone's better, and the fact that I know they still have to deal with the situation with Kyrie and all that. But I still think overall, and then we're still not even talking about the defending champ, the Bucks. That's still in our conference. So I'm sitting there saying and I want to get your thoughts on this. Let's get away from the Ben Simmons stuff for a minute and just talk about this upcoming season. What are your thoughts on it? I still feel that a lot of people are estimating what the Lakers are going to be, and I think that we're going to get a different team out of the West.
Man, listen, man, I tell you this. A lot of people talking about the West, but I think a lot of teams in the NBA got better.
Oh, I do. I do too.
In the East, I think the East is wide open, to be honest with you. I think the East is wide open, as well as the West is wide open. I think it's going to be two teams that nobody's talking about being in the NBA Finals this year. That's my honest opinion, because everybody's good, and you're not going to know, who's going to be that elite team until, mid-season. And teams need to start building, who they are. And, with this going on with the 76ers right now, they're wasting time if you're trying to be one of those teams that's trying to be in the finals.
It definitely is. And, what's your over regardless of the Ben Simmons situation, do you feel that the Sixers team even like regardless of a trade or if they have to kind of stick around with the situation to see what happens, do you feel it's more looking into the future to see what they could do with over the next 2 years? And this season might unfortunately be leave much to be desired if you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan.
Well, I just think that you was right there last year to be able to win it, and you still have that same core team. You just need to be able to have that one person to replace Ben, and I definitely think that they're in contention to be one of those teams to come out of the East. I mean, why wouldn't they be one of the teams to be able to compete? I actually thought that they was the only team that can possibly beat Brooklyn last year, because they had guards that can actually guard on the perimeter. And, they still got that same kind of core, and because Embiid's going to be a load for any big man in the league that they have to face. So if you got guards that can guard and can knock down shots late, they're always going to be a problem.
Wouldn't it be funny? Like we talk about this in sports all the time. Like, it's just kind of the way everything works, right? Like, this would be the year, like, nobody's going to pick the Sixers to win anything this year because all of a sudden there's all this turmoil at the beginning of the season. Everybody thinks there's all this, inner tension and all these problems. And then next thing you know, they put it all together. And this is the year that they go make that run to the finals when we thought it was going to be last year and maybe the year before that and maybe even the year before that. It almost was the year before that, the Kawhi shot in Toronto, right? The triple bounce, all these times where it's been like, oh, it was going to be the Sixers year, and then somehow it's the year where coming into the season, it seemed like it was going to be nothing but a complete headache.
Well, if you think about it, think about the last time the Sixers made the finals. Look how much turmoil it was about getting rid of Allen Iverson, and he came in.
That's a good point, Jumaine. Yeah, you were there. You remember all that attention.
He wanted to be here, and it was so much turmoil on what they was going to do with Allen Iverson. And he came in and like, listen, this is what I want to do. We went 10-0 to start the season. It was a lot of turmoil that was going around. So, with the culture of the Sixers, unfortunately, when it is a lot of turmoil in the backs against the wall,
let me ask you. Let me pose this one then. You're bringing up how people wanted Allen out and things of that nature, and we're talking. We were just telling you like how he's being beloved, and then we're sitting there seeing other athletes being critical of this situation, right? You see right now kind of Jason Kelsey and Dwight Howard kind of having a disagreement of how it's being handled. You think someone like Allen could give someone a Ben some insight of like something he could do that kind of mend if he's going to try to make this happen, just mend some type of bond with this thing, because he was able to do it, right?
Well, all Allen can do is give his opinion, and
that's what exactly. Yeah.
All Allen can do is give his opinion, but then again, it's a different generation. You don't know how they're going to take things in, so you never know. Allen Iverson is who he is. He can give him the best advice on everything that he went through during that time. It's a perfect situation, where they talking about getting rid of him and, blaming a lot of stuff on him and not practicing and all that kind of stuff. So he can definitely give him all of that, give him
Except Allen's back was actually hurt. If Allen showed up and said, my back hurts, his back actually hurt, and everybody knew it hurt. Right. But but to your point, you said they come from different backgrounds, right? Like Allen, coming from just a very tough upbringing, that helped shape him into who he was. Whereas you've said Ben's kind of always been coddled his whole life a little bit. And it's just one of those things where
nobody ever gave Allen Iverson anything. He always earned everything that he possibly had. And, it's different when you're from Australia, things are different.
You've been groomed for this your entire life almost. It's a good way to look at it. But does that make sense why a guy like Jimmy Butler, who's a total alpha male, it seems like all reports, him and Ben, there was so much tension when they were all in that same locker room playing in Philly that it had to either be Ben goes or Jimmy goes, and Jimmy eventually left to go to Miami. Like, I feel like that's the type of thing. Alpha males, like a guy like a Kobe, if Ben Simmons ever played on a Kobe Bryant, like Kobe Bryant would punch him in his face in the locker room. Like, he just wouldn't be able to stand the fact that he's not matching his level of competitiveness.
That's what I'm saying. If you think about it, because I think Doc got a lot frustrated with him also this year. You know what I mean? And Doc is that alpha male. You know what I mean? When Doc first got in Philadelphia, the first thing I said, MB's going to win the MVP this year. And if he would have played enough games last year, he would have won the MVP, because that's the caliber coach that MB needs. But that's not the same thing that Ben Simmons needs. He needs somebody that's going to, you know, like I always felt like
beat his ass a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the coach that was there from Australia, I felt like that was the worst thing for the team.
You know, me and Steven were joking about this the other day, that he does remind me of the toddler that throws a temper tantrum, and instead of getting his ass beat, his parents just give him candy. You know, Ben's thrown a temper tantrum his whole life, and he's always been given what he wants instead of being, you know, disciplined for it.
Absolutely.
And now it's catching up.
And held accountable for things. That's never happened to him.
Yeah, but that's something you can't do here. We hold everyone accountable for it.
You can't do that anywhere in sports.
I guess he's trying to prove that wrong right now. But I guess unfortunately, I guess we'll have to see how this plays out. I mean, I don't want to kind of linger too much more on this, but
one more point, Steven. More point, just one more point with it. The idea of holding on to him, and everybody's talking about right now, what deal can you do right now? What deal can you do? But the longer you hold on to him, and the closer we get towards the trade deadline in the NBA season, the more the chances of a team with an injury or a team realizing, hey, maybe this guy's the missing piece to everything. And I feel like maybe the more leverage we have again. And that's why I wouldn't be in a hurry to make a move. Like, you never know what the situation could be in 2 months.
Yeah, I'm just big on not bringing that turmoil in the locker room. Let's get that out of the locker room.
That's kind of where I was from the gate. As soon as I heard I'm like, I don't want him around. I don't want him in the locker room. I don't want him around this team. Like, if you don't want to be here, just don't be here. You know,
because that can rub off, and then that's starting. Another person's feeling the way.
When he did
it's like being that bad apple.
It's
just tell him to go sit at home. You're detrimental to the team, and we'll let you know when we found somebody to trade you, with or whatever, like type of thing. You didn't even need to be around the team. Absolutely. I mean, you still might find yourself in a situation where somebody's giving you more than, yeah, we can accept that, sure. We'll take Buddy Hield and 2 first-round picks. Sure, okay. I guess, at this point, come the deadline and you're like, hey, a perimeter shooter, 2 first-round picks. It's got some potential.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what the Sixers are doing. And I know somebody like Embiid is, have his opinion. Like, look, we're trying to win now.
What's it? Yeah. What's it say to you when he's like, hey, nobody, we're not here to babysit this guy. It's almost, he's like, hey man, fuck off. Like, we're done with you.
He knows these next few years are like the prime years of his career, and he doesn't want to waste it like his potential to win a championship on still being married to Ben when Ben says like their relationship's run its course. He's like, he's had enough of it. He knows what's about to come. So, so
let's move on with our lives.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of moving on, I want to kind of switch gears real fast, because I know next weekend you actually have another charity event that you're doing, and I want to kind of give you a chance to kind of let the people here know what's going on. I actually got the website here for it as well. Let's see, we pull up your banner here as well. We got your breast cancer walk you got going on October 30th. I guess kind of let the people know what's what you're doing and how they can help out, man.
Yeah, I had a couple of my aunts that passed away from breast cancer, so this is one of the things that I'm passionate about doing out in the community. I've been thinking about things to do here in Philadelphia, because I'm back here. I've been in Philadelphia now for 2 months, and I've been trying to put things together. That's one of the first events that I'm doing. I actually have an event November 11th that I'll be the keynote speaker, that's dealing with a lot of mental health. The organization is called Black Man Heal, and they wanted me to come in and speak on a lot of, things that us as black men go through with mental health. I'm actually doing my own mental health gala. My first one was last year, where I got a lot of support, from athletes like Trace McGrady, Shaquille O'Neal, Steve Francis came, Lamar Odom came, Dennis Scott, Jerome Williams, just a lot of athletes. Otis Nixon was one of the guys. So I'm doing it this year in Philadelphia, December the 10th. I will be announcing, probably in a couple of weeks, all the guests that'll be a part of it. I'm partnering up with, I call him Tony V because I can't pronounce his last name. He's a former Boston Red Sox baseball player who actually went through, a situation where he got hit by a drunk driver head on and ended his baseball career. And he went through so much mental health stuff that he actually went back to school to be a mental health therapist, to be able to help others. And he does a lot of stuff with kids with disabilities and stuff like that now with Base Able. So we're partnering up together to do honoring mental health and awareness in athletes and entertainers, and just have some keynote speakers come in and speak about, because a lot of people think that, since you have all this money, that it is an answer to a lot of things. So I just want to give people another light of listening to athletes who's actually been through a lot of things that had the whole world, and just trying to give people a different perspective on athletes, just like what Kyrie is going through right now. He's so talented and people just want to see him play basketball, but nobody's thinking about what he's going through and with his mental health. So that's what we want to bring to light, and that's something that I'll be doing. And most of my events will be posted on my website, at beyondthehardwood.net.
It's right down here, so everyone knows. It's right down at the bottom. Got them right underneath you. Got the link right underneath you, so people know. Make sure that you reach out to if making sure we have to connect everybody. And I say this all the time. If you have people, you can make things happen. All right, you're gonna be in Philadelphia. I hope so. I hope somebody links you and Lane Johnson together, so you see if you can bring some more light to some of the things happen. People don't realize that one person reaching out makes so much of a difference. You don't know. I just had a conversation with my mother. Doing all these things to kind of help her out. Walking to having she was just having a day, dude. Sometimes people you don't even realize it. You're doing all these things for them, and they're still having a day inside of it. You don't know how much one person can make, especially when we're talking about mental health. It could it could be the absolute stranger. You just see a weird post, man. Somebody reach out to somebody, because you really don't know what difference that's going to make to that person. You don't know how far they are from the end of the rope. And that's why I always say to everybody, you really don't know what someone else is going through sometimes. So you can't really always judge somebody on a knee-jerk reaction,
Absolutely. It's funny that you talked about Dwayne. I was just having a conversation with somebody. It's like, well, why don't you reach out to him? I was like, well, I don't really know him. And then it's funny how things work. I ran into B. Dawkins the other day too, and I found out I didn't even know that he did a lot of things with mental health.
Yeah.
And he's somebody actually too that I've been talking with to see if he wanted to be a part of this event. I think that would be great too, to have him. To have him on. But I've been reaching out once I get, the space in, and I'm still working on the space that I really want. But as soon as I get it locked in, I'll be able to announce all the people that's coming in. I know I already have Lamar Odom locked in to come in. I have Terrell Owens who's coming in.
There you go.
So far. So it's going to be a lot of other guys that's going to be coming in that, that I'll reach out to once I actually lock in the facility. So I'll probably be knowing the exact spot that we'll be having it at in the next couple of days. But it's definitely going down December 10th, and we'll definitely have a lot of people coming in just for that event.
Awesome. Well, Gonna get wrap this one up. As I typically do, throw the proverbial microphone over to you, Jumaine. Anyone would like to thank? Anything else you want to let the people know about? Obviously, I've already thrown out the the link there. Throwing the banner up there. Let everyone know what's going on. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Well, I'm back in Philadelphia. I've been here for 2 months, so I'll be doing a lot of activities. You can go to my website and be able to see what upcoming events I'll be having. I'll probably be doing, something, at least at minimum once a month. I'll be doing something that's related to mental health and reaching out to a lot of youth. I like to reach out to the youth about, just a simple name, Beyond the Hardwood, because a lot of things these kids don't understand is basketball is a lot bigger than just a game. And, I always try to reach out to them about all the other opportunities that are around the game of basketball if you love it that much. And I think people don't really reach out to the youth enough to let them know about, the other opportunities other than the game of basketball, where there's only a 1% chance that you're going to make the NBA.
Absolutely. Well, Jumaine, it's always a pleasure having you all. Hearing your insight. On the court, off the court. About our Sixers, about the NBA. Always love having you on here. Anytime you got something going on, man, make sure you reach out, tag us, whatever. We'll be always happy to share what you guys got going on, man. Mental health, regardless, breast cancer awareness. All that. Make sure you guys are keeping an eye on a lot of the stuff these athletes do after they're done their professional career, because sometimes it makes a little bit more difference than the stuff that they put smiles on their face for us while they entertained us, but they also there's other sides to people that people also. That's why I love doing these interviews. So you guys can kind of reconnect with that, and then you never know. This interview you connect with someone. Hey, I lost my my mom to breast cancer 10 years ago, and they wound up doing that. And then, like we were already talking about, it just the little things, man. The little things.
Absolutely, I appreciate you guys having me. I will stay in touch with you. Thank you.
All right, Jumaine. Have a good evening. We'll catch up, my man. All right, everyone. That was Jumaine Jones. It's always fun catching up with him. We got it loaded up in the back already, man. You ready to have some fun, Zach?
He's going to join Alan at the blackjack table. Alan's got like a private poker game going on that Jermaine's invited to.
All right. Well, first and foremost, we got my man Shorty, Sean Shorty Rock Santella in the back. We're gonna bring him on real quick and have some fun. Let's talk some MMA. I know we got Alan back there. We're gonna bring him on here in a second too. What's up, Sean? How you feeling tonight, my man?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
We're good. We've been busting up. We had Otis Nixon on. He was like at the Atlanta game, getting ready to do some type of thing going on. And we just had Jumaine Jones. He was at the casino. Was just talking to Allen Iverson right before we had him on. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. He's got the breast cancer walk next month. He's like we were talking about the mental health stuff that he's doing and stuff like that. It's always good to kind of connect and see the many things that everyone kind of involved with outside of just the general sports that we kind of are known for, right?
Yeah, man, everybody's staying busy, which is good too.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we got to do. We got to keep in mind busy with all the crazy stuff that's going on in life, man. I mean, I got so much stuff going on with me. I don't know how I keep it straight sometimes, and then you're about to head over to Russia in a few weeks. Tell me about this one. Brave 55. You're getting ready to fly over there. What is the like? Are you worried about these protocols, things of that nature? Like are we getting ready to fly out like this week? How are you getting ready for this?
Man, I mean, this all came on kind of short notice. I actually got the call when I was out in Vegas. Cornering for the Contender Series, and I didn't really know anything about it. They just hit me up and like, do you want this fight? I'm like, yeah, I want this fight. I've been trying to get a fight for the last couple of months, man, like just send me the contract and let's go. Then they're like, all right, well, it's in Russia in 4 weeks. I'm like, oh, great. Figured I'd be thrown to one of their hometown guys, and so first time traveling there. I think they're on quarantine right now. There was something on the news where everything was kind of shut down. Kind of having an issue getting visa and going through all that bullshit. But
See, that's what I
hopefully
was
we
worried.
get it
That's
done,
what I'm
you know?
worried about. Yeah, that's why I was sitting there saying, like, how's that playing out? Because like the international thing's rough because like you don't know how like I heard some horror stories of what just what Canada did to Jake Peacock when he was trying to come back after his line fight. Like they were trying to make him quarantine, like they wouldn't even let him leave before he even left for the fight.
Yeah, well, Zach McCoskey actually couldn't go back to Canada after we fought last year. I guess because he has like dual citizenship or you know whatever. He's not a full-time like resident or citizen. So he came and we flew into I guess he went to Toronto and I went to JFK, and I guess he got stuck at the airport and he had to come to Newark, and then he had to stay in Philly because they wouldn't let him back in. So it's crazy. So I hope I don't get stuck in Russia, but I mean, I guess it is what it is, right?
Oh man, they better not kidnap you, brother. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be that. I mean, of all the places, I don't think that's any place I want to be stuck for an extended period of time. Nothing against. I'm not saying I don't like Russia or anything like that. It's just saying, like this time of year, I don't think that's where I want to be stuck at.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know a couple people over there that actually been willing to help me out with things I need if things are all kind of stuck at a standstill and we can't get out to get anything, which is good. So I can at least get things I needed delivered to wherever I'm at and stuff like that, if it's even a possibility. But I'm kind of going in blind. I mean, I have no idea about anything right now. I mean, the last fight in Bahrain was a little different. They kind of gave us an idea of what we were looking forward to for the most part. And, here, I don't know anything. I'm pretty much first time getting a visa, which seems to be a pain in the butt. So I'm like, you know what? I got a manager. I pay him. He can go take care of that because it's such a pain in the ass running into New York, going into the consulate. I think my manager got thrown out of the Russian consulate this week trying to take care of stuff for us. But, I don't know. It's just I'm hoping everything goes through, and I'm trying to stay like optimistic, but it just seems like every time I think that everything's going to be all right, with everything being short notice, it just seems like during a pandemic and all this other crap, man, it's a pain in the ass. I mean, it is what it is, and we got to do what we got to do, and hopefully we'll make it work. But it's just been like stressful trying to concentrate on training, and plus I'm teaching full time. I'm flying back and forth to Vegas for cornering and Atlanta, and I got guys fighting this weekend in Pennsylvania. So I got a lot, 2 different shows I got to bounce back and forth from to corner these guys. So I definitely stay busy, but it's definitely not easy, man.
Yeah, especially with everything going on, and then you're still having to train for a fight potentially, and then still you don't know how the whole outcome of that's going to go. Like I said, definitely good thing having the manager figuring out the visa. So like worst case scenario, you're still doing what you got to do, and if that doesn't pan out, then hey, you can't even fly out, and then you could just one less thing to got to worry about initially. But I know how you are, man. You want to get in there. You're ready to throw down at this point in time, right?
Listen, I'm going crazy. I don't want to fight one time a year, and that was the main thing when I signed with Brave, was trying to stay active. So, man, if something happens and God forbid this fight falls through, if they can't rebook me ASAP, I'm gonna ask to be able to fight locally. Like I don't care. It's a huge pay cut, but man, I just want to fight. I mean, that's all I want to do. I wish I could fight in a tournament, like a same night tournament. Like I just can't stand just fighting one time a year, or even twice a year. It's driving me crazy.
I mean, I'm
running out of space to get tattoos. It's the only other thing that calms me,
It's either the ink. I mean, and then the other thing, obviously, I wanted to throw that out there before I forget. You're also doing your T-shirt, so I wanted to give you a chance to kind of plug that. I kind of gave the guys a thing for that. Sean's got his T-shirts out there. There you go, right?
It's a little Pink Panther with Khabib involved,
Well, obviously, got to do that going over to Russia, right? You got to make it all work together.
Yep. Hopefully they don't take it as disrespect. So I got the approval from the Russians I train with, so we're good to go.
I don't think it would be a disrespectful thing. I mean, unless you're doing it in a disrespectful manner, which it's not. I mean, it's the Pink Panther, so I don't think it. For people don't know, Sean, give him a little background for the Pink Panther thing.
Yeah, it's kind of been my logo, at least the pink for a while. And a buddy of mine redid the Pink Panther with some cauliflower ear and a little black eye and stuff like that. So it's kind of stuck with me. So I've been kind of riding it out as much as I could. So it's good. So I kind of modify that with my short jitsu, and now I got that the Khabib hat on it. So there
you go. Give it a little more pizzazz, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like we talk about it. It's rough keeping active and things of that nature, and we're seeing it's getting harder. Obviously, you're at a weight class where it's already rough to find the right fights that makes sense and things of that nature. How much longer you think you're going to be able to do it before you really completely transition to full-time head coach? Like, do you see yourself going another 3-5 years? How are you feeling overall? Since obviously you're not taking all this punishment at this point in time.
I mean, at this point, if I'm fighting once a year, I can go at least until I'm 60, 65. Right? I mean, fuck. No, I mean, my body's held up, and luckily for my fighting style, I don't take a lot of damage. I've had a lot of finishes, and I'm big on damage control in my fights. Even when I lose, I'm not killing myself. I think I take more damage sparring with all these guys than I do in my fights. So I think I have to be a little smarter with what I do when I'm not in camp, and that'll kind of prolong my career. My beginning of my career, I sparred with everybody. Jim, Dan Miller, heavyweights. It was just like a small group, and we just went in there and we just sparred. And it definitely took some wear and tear on my body. So lately it's been a little easier where I get to spar with smaller guys, but I feel like I'm always in a fight camp because we have such a big team and such high level guys. Every weekend people are fighting, so, I try to do my best to help everybody out and not be like selfish, but it comes to a point where, at certain points I have to kind of be selfish. And a lot of my students are like, hey, you're fighting. Remember, take time for you, stop worrying about us, but, it's just so hard for me to do that. So,
it's one of the things that's always amazed me about you, Sean, because you you do both. So like sometimes it's really hard for you to turn that switch from coach to okay, I need to work on me.
Yeah, it is.
You still find that I guess that happy medium.
I do. Yeah, I do, because I love it. I just love being around it. I'm very involved with the coaching. I teach full time. And I'm kind of, as far as I'm a firm believer in first come, first serve. If a bunch of my students have a fight on a day, and then, a few weeks later I get a fight offer, I'll turn down the fight offer. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's the right thing to do. And I'm just not selfish, and I've had to do that before where, earlier on in my coaching career, people would wait until the last minute, the promotion, and be like, hey, we'll put you on here. And I'm like, well, I've been asking for a fight for the last 4 months, and you decide to give me a fight the day that I have to travel for my students, So I was like, no, you're going to have to give me a different date, and you're going to have to give me enough time. So I've been able to stick to my guns with that for the most part. I don't know how long I'll be able to do that, but I just don't feel like it's fair. And I always put myself second, but it's a good balance, It's kind of the same for me, man. I train full time. I teach full time. I know, most people say you can't put 100% into two things. I mean, I really find like I do. I get my work in the morning, and I teach every night. And, the only thing that probably suffers is my personal life, which I don't have, which, I'm not too worried about it, man. I'm traveling. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. No regrets,
Yeah, man. I mean, you live your life to the fullest right now. You might have some regrets in hindsight, but live in the moment. I think is always the best thing. As long as you're not, overall hurting somebody, it's you're not neglecting somebody. Then I don't see the harm in anything. If you're both coaching and competing at a high level, I don't think really someone can be too upset with you at that point in time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And right now, the only thing that's important in my life is my car, and it sees a lot of miles going from training session to training session and everything else.
What are you driving now, Sean?
I just picked up a GTR.
Oh, there you.
That's my baby.
See, you're going the other. See, I'm trying to find more room. I'm trying to find a Suburban right now or a Tahoe or something. I need something with some multiple seats. I get the kids and the mom and everyone in there, and so we can get everything going. But that dude,
not in the GTR.
No. You're just you and one other person. Ain't even no one getting there. There's nowhere else.
They have a backseat, but it's definitely not for people. I can tell you that.
No. If anyone has ever been in those cars that you ever tried, no.
Nice.
Because
I haven't even tried to put somebody in the back seat.
So
it's a sweatshirt. That's about it that fits back there. And a pair of MMA gloves.
Oh, he got him! What a good pitch.
You following baseball? The playoffs, the baseball playoffs this offseason, Sean?
Yeah, I gamble a little bit. I'm hoping for the Dodgers.
Oh, you're pulling for the
Dodgers. Stephen, me, you need to just go away for a minute. The two degenerates are going to talk for a moment. We're going to speak, our language.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I mean, Alan's been sitting here back for like 15 minutes. I know we got him on. Let's bring Alan in on the fun. If we're going to let the degenerates talk, right?
Alan's not a degenerate. Alan doesn't.
I didn't say he's a degenerate. I just said let's bring him in on the fun.
Alan is the furthest thing from a degenerate.
I appreciate the kind words.
But go ahead. You said you want to get the betting talk. Yeah, go ahead, brother. You go.
Well, you've got money on the Dodgers. You say, okay. So what? Money on them to win the World Series? What?
No, I have them just winning this game.
Just them winning this game. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But they're mixed in with I got a cross sport parlay, which I've hit pretty much everything so far. Yeah, so I just need.
Did you catch up on some MMA tonight? You throw that some in there?
I did. Yep, I took Vittori, and I also took Trinaldo and the Dawson fight going the distance.
There you go.
So
see that's when the MMA mind pays off. That people don't get this. Sometimes you can see how matchups play out, and if you can get some of those parlays that work, you're good.
So
yeah, sometimes I bet with my heart though, not my head.
Yeah, that I think that's always the hardest part. Sometimes, like you always want to say like, hey, I think my guy can pull this off.
Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta take this out of this and use this.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. But then I kind of started sucking with as soon as I had that mindset and went with my own picks. Oh, I feel good about this pick. I never won anything and just constantly lost money. I listen to my bookie now. Whatever he tells me to bet on, I bet on.
Yeah,
that's how much of a degenerate I am.
Yeah, I'm like that too. So I had to hit up one of my teammates, and I asked him like, "How long is a soccer game? I'm a little confused here. I thought it was 90 minutes. Why are they going over the 90? How did I lose at 90 something minutes? I thought it was over by then." He's like, "Why?" I was like, I
felt like such a degenerate.
I don't even know. I was like, I have no friggin' idea. I had nothing else to bet on that day.
He had me bet on Kazakhstan soccer. I was like, this is like the lowest of the low. I am. This is not good. Base hit in the hole. Tie game. Dodgers have tied it at 1.
Nice.
All right, Sean. Normally, you know how we typically wrap things up. I kind of throw that proverbial mic over to you, man. Anyone you want to thank your teammates, shoot out the social media sites, your sponsors, anything like that, Sean. The time is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, guys. Big shout out to some of my sponsors, mainly Dirty Jersey Smoke Supplies out of New Jersey. Check them out for all your smoke needs, CBD oil, all that good stuff. Also, my gym, Nicotone MMA, Driven Mafia, all my teammates. Got a lot of big fights coming up. Super excited for Frankie's fight. He's actually fighting the same day as me. Cody making his flyweight debut. And big things for our team coming up, man. Hopefully everything goes well in Russia. You guys can follow me on pretty much all my social media, either at Shorty Rock or SRock125. And I really appreciate the support, guys. And everybody be safe.
Well, definitely always gonna show you love, my friend. Best of skill as always. Hopefully, travel and everything works out, and you're able to kind of get in there, and hopefully, you never know. So, hopefully, someone gets hurt, you get a last minute opportunity for something back here stateside, and get a chance to get something else in before the end of the year too.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. I'd love to fight stateside, but I mean, I wish the UFC weren't such haters of the Pink Panther, man. I want to fight all these guys. I want to fight them all.
Listen, I would say one thing. I would make sure you have you're in the testing pool. That would be one thing I would always make sure, and then just I would persistently find, like, if there's an injury, whatever, anything in that division, I wouldn't stop, dude.
Keep pushing, man. That's all you can do.
Absolutely, man. Well, best of skill. I definitely won't want to see you there, man. I've been pushing for it all those years since I've been doing cage side submission. Now I'm over here on 18. I'm still gonna keep pushing for you, bro. Get that thing, man. Hopefully, you get a big win here, and the next fight is the UFC fight.
Yeah, fingers crossed, bro. Thank you.
As always, man. Best of skill. Keep your head up, brother. We'll have you back on here.
Yeah,
Appreciate.
Let's go Dodgers.
All right, Sean. That was Sean Shorty Rock Santella. And without any further ado, we're just gonna go transition right into it. Next segment, debut segment. My man down the bottom, Mr. Alan AJ Foy, is joining us in the coach's corner. We're here. It's here. Welcome. What's up, my friend?
Nothing much, man. Just living life. Appreciate you guys having me on. Just listening. I don't talk on stuff I don't know about, so I was just letting them get that out of the way.
I was letting you feel it in there. You got a little bit of Jumaine's interview in there. I
didn't. When we did this, I didn't know I was going to be following an NBA player. I mean, that's tough to follow up with. But.
I mean, it's a tough lineup to follow as it is, anyway. It's Otis Nixon, Jumaine Jones, and then the MMA fighter. So that's why I said, I was like, "Are you sure you want to put Alan on at the end?" I think he might feel a little awkward after that.
I didn't want to put you on before Jumaine Jones. I felt like that would really be bad, and I was like, I definitely don't want to put him on right after Jumaine Jones because that's still bad. So I was like, well, I guess we'll go the final half hour. See, this is what's great about the final half hour, Alan. We can talk about whatever the hell we want. It's completely uncensored. Nobody's here rushing us. We're not like on some type of time frame because somebody's, we got to bring somebody on in an interview. It's our time, man.
Yeah, no, I'm about it. Like I told you when you wanted a schedule, I was like, whatever worked for you. I'm flexible. That's perfect.
And just think, we still got the giveaway today. I still got a message. I still got a message Ralphie and let him know when to do the Otis Nixon giveaway for our premium members. So
it's amazing, Alan. You used to have hair, and it's like all the hair you've lost.
I did used to have hair, and the funny thing is that my hairline didn't recede; it just stopped growing in the middle. So I was just like, I'm going to take it myself. I'm going to take it myself. Nature's not going to take it. I'm going to take it. So I just
I'm feeling you there, dude. Like that's why my best friend has become like the head blade kits and things of that nature. Just, gotta keep it low, keep it bald, man. I'm with you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm the one that brings the long flowing beautiful locks to the show. You and Steven bring the good looks. I bring the good hair.
I like it.
Yeah. See, I figured you'd dig that. You would be a fan of that.
Yeah, I could have long hair.
I see the Mamba mentality sign behind you. See now, Steven, for Alan's always been a huge Kobe guy since I've known him. There's never a time I can.
Well, obviously, he heard the interview, so I got to hear what he's got to say about all this. Like, obviously,
we need his opinion on the Ben Simmons situation. Absolutely.
We got Jumaine's thoughts on how he feels about it. He feels that they need to get that boy completely away from this team as fast as they freaking possibly can. Obviously still getting the most value that he can. Obviously, there's multiple different layers to this, and I thought he brought some interesting points into the equation that I probably didn't think about before this. And we obviously me and Zach have kind of touched on this. I kind of felt like he is literally at this point in time the most hated Philadelphia athlete of all time.
Yeah, I mean, Zach knows I'm not a Philadelphia sports fan across the board. I am a Sixers fan. But I still listen to all the radio stations. I'm in South Jersey, so that's what I listen to and stuff. But I agree 100%. And the sad part about it is it's not hard. Jason Kelsey, I believe, is the one you guys brought up about what he said. It's not hard to be loved in Philadelphia. It's not. You don't even have to be that good. You just have to give everything you have.
Yeah, we've proven that. I think the Philadelphia fan base has proven that.
Just give everything you have, and they'll love you forever.
Play hard, endear yourself to us in some manner, and you will be loved. It's not hard.
That's it. And the softness, the babiness, and all that stuff. It's not going to fly in Philadelphia. And here's
the other thing I want to like we keep sitting there saying it's not. Where else it's going to fly? Where else is he actually going to be able to continue to behave like this? Not just like how the situation's being handled, but like not being held accountable for things, not holding yourself accountable to at least somewhat improve yourself. And like we talked, there's layers to this. Like he's kind of. As Jumaine was mentioning, like his upbringing is different than from being over there in Australia than if he was here in Philadelphia or Chicago or LA, etc. It's just a kind of a different situation. So, do you think those are kind of mitigating factors that kind of plays into the overall thing, or do you think it is at some point in time he just has to be held accountable for everything?
I mean, for him to get to his full potential, he's going to have to be held accountable. Because here's the truth. He's the same player he was the day he was drafted. I mean, that's the God honest truth. His stats are almost the same, year in, year out.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
He's improved a little bit, but in my opinion, he's the same exact player he was when he got drafted here. And that's not he's not a bad player. We all know what he can do.
He's still an that's still an all-star level caliber player.
We all know what he can do, his strengths, and we all know what his weaknesses are. But you're not going to be held accountable until you are held accountable. You're not going to improve on what you need to improve on to take the next jump. So until he allows himself to be held accountable and coached, he's peaked. And, you talked about the biggest issue is Philadelphia has championship aspirations. If this was a team that, was middling in the East or wasn't even, barely a playoff team, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But because there's championship aspirations attached to the team, everything is magnified. So it's not going to fly, at the end of the day.
And Philly's an area where we have, I don't know if you call it the Mamba mentality as you've got behind you, right? But I mean, it's that type of blue collar, work ethic at all times. And I know you apply that to all aspects of your life, which is funny. Something you used to always talk about, not just in sports, you would apply it to everything in your life. And now you've made it successful with what you do from a real estate perspective. So real quick, before we go any further, plug EXP Realty and everything you're doing with that. Cause this is, I mean, you're a basketball coach, as you've always been a basketball player. Basketball, that's still a big part of your life. But this is kind of what is your new passion compared to the Alan I used to know over the past couple of years. This has become the new big thing for you. So, EXP Realty. I mean, explain to everybody. There's plenty of people listening, I'm sure, that would love to be able to hit you up. Here over the next couple months to do business. You've got a chance to plug it firsthand. I want to hear EXP Realty, just what is it all about? The total package. Go.
Yeah, I mean, EXP Realty is, they're changing the way things are done. They're getting away from the brick and mortar building, come in, check into the office, be there for, whatever it is, 9 to 5, 9 to 3, whatever. It's innovation at its finest. I compare it a lot to Netflix and Blockbuster. Blockbuster had a lot of success. They were set in their ways. No one ever thought they would ever get touched. They were, the leading rental videos or whatever you want to say. And then Netflix comes on, they start streaming, you don't have to leave your house anymore to see what you want. And they're like, it would never work. And Blockbuster, a lot of people don't know this. Blockbuster actually had a chance to buy Netflix out and they refused because they didn't think it would work. They thought it was a gimmick. They thought it was just a fad. It would fade in a couple months. And now Blockbuster's out of business. So, you look at all these brick and mortar businesses, other brokerages, and it's all about making and the way the pay scale is, it's all about making the broker the money. You have no financial guarantees. You're an independent contractor. You're not going to collect, retirement. You're not going to collect SSI at your other brokerages or any of that stuff. But EXP offers you stock options. They offer you the rev share program. It's all about the agents. It's agent owned. Almost everybody. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some people who know EXP's blowing up and the stock's blowing up, so they've bought it from an outside point of view. But the majority of the stockholders are EXP licensed agents. And that's because we're getting it through selling, and we get it as part of our commission, and we get it as part of our incentives. So it's a great time. I have a blast. I'm on I got about 100 people on my team in about 10, 15 different states right now. We had one in, Washington, all the way across on the West Coast. So, it's a blast. You learn a bunch, have fun. We laugh every day. We ride together, the whole 9 yards. And it's all about, everything else is the same for real estate. We're still trying to get people to buy houses, sell houses, help them out in any aspect that we can. But it's good for the agent, and it's building wealth and building things. And, I'm all in on it. Like I said, this allows me to do coaching. This, the real estate allows me to do what I wake up in the morning for and what I'm truly, truly passionate for. So I always, be loyal to EXP for that.
So this is like the new school of anything that is the real estate business and being involved in all that. This is kind of the new direction, exactly. And you guys are creating, exactly. Creating that new direction. Exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. It's good. Grant Cardone, I don't know if you know the name or not, but he's a huge, big time investor. He's a billionaire. He's got Grant Cardone Capital, all that stuff. He actually joined EXP about 6-7 months ago. And the big quote he said is, "This is the Amazon of real estate. EXP is the Amazon of real estate." And it's still the ground floor. I did a video. I think the last video I did, matter of fact, on Friday was about it. We're still on the ground floor. We have 67,000 agents, which sounds like a lot, but we're projected to have 400,000 in the next 2 to 3 years. So it's still just a drop in the bucket. So people who want to be a real estate, thinking about a career in real estate, you have a chance to get in on the ground floor of something special. And how many of us would love to go back and get in on the ground floor of Amazon or Sirius or whatever it is, Netflix or whatever the case may be.
And not just that. I mean, how many people I'm sure that are listening to this right now that follow us here at A2D. You're building a brand right now, and that's something that we know here at A2D firsthand. That Tom Arnone, our boss, has done a great job with being able to build A2D into this brand that it now is. And it's one of those things where how many people switch to something like real estate as a career? They get tired of, whatever stupid 9-to-5 job they're doing. I'm tired of being a deli man at Target or not Target, at ShopRite or Publix or any other stupid, stores around the country. And they want to get into something different. And, real estate sounds like, on paper, a great idea, get to make a ton of money. And it can be one of those things where it changes your life. But it's not as not always as simple as that sounds. You guys are kind of inviting that idea. It sounds like where if you're somebody that if you're 30 years old and you're tired of whatever job you've been doing for the past 8 years and you just want to finally create a career that's yours, this is kind of like what you guys are doing. You're kind of inviting that idea of come join something that is new and different and kind of reinventing the entire industry. Who doesn't want to be a part of that if you're young and into it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've had great bosses my whole life, always. But, now I'm my own boss. I set my own schedule. If I don't want to do something, I'm like, not doing it. I'm just not going to do it. So, and there's no repercussions at all because I'm my own boss. I'm my own brand. And,
you're like, what, 30 years old, Alan? Tell the people how old you are. You're 30, right? You're only a couple years older than that. 29. So
Yep.
I knew you're only a little bit older than me. I'm 28, so you're not yet. I mean, you're what, a
Yeah,
year and a
yeah,
half older
yeah.
than I am. Hey, look, listen, you get somebody that going on 30 years old and you do what the hell you want to do in life, right? Everything, whatever you want to do,
Exactly.
you do. If you don't want to
And
do
what's
something, you
better
don't
than that?
do.
At the end of the day, what's better than that is having your own
Nothing.
freedom and being able to do whatever you want. You still pay your bills. You still have a roof over your head. You still have a nice car. You know, you're still doing all the stuff you want to do on the side. But again, no one's over top of you saying you have to do this. You have to check in at 9 o'clock, no matter what, or you're, being docked or whatever the case may be. The only, if I decide not to do something, the only side effect would be maybe I don't get paid on it. But again, I pick and choose my battles. So.
Yeah, so when you look at real estate, and all your success there, what do you take from that when you go to coach kids? You're going to go now coach at Bordentown. We'll give people a little bit of background here. Alan played at Doane Academy. We both went to Doane Academy for high school. He played there, then played at DeVry University in college. Was coaching a couple different stops. Coached at Cross Christian. I remember you being the head coach there in Delaware. And then had been the assistant here at Doane the past few years, and now you're going to be the head coach at Bordentown. So, but this real estate thing is something that's kind of taken off for the past couple years for you. So it's got to be relatively new as far as the things you take from that and how you apply it to coaching. How do you use it when you talk with your kids and you're trying to use it as life lessons and all that? Because me and you both know. I mean, Coach Dan, obviously, we kind of came up under him. It's not just coaching basketball and winning games. You care about helping these young men grow in the young adults.
Absolutely. And it goes back to, being holding people accountable, like not to bring the Bing Simmons situation again, but for example, in the real world, oh, my back hurts, I'm not coming in today. Well, guess what, buddy? In the real world, you're not getting paid. All right. You show up and do your job. Maybe you're unhappy with your employer, which he is right now, but in the real world, you have to go do what you got to do. And everything that, like you said, Coach Dan, you didn't play basketball, but he had a huge impact on you. And I played for him, and he's my uncle and everything. And obviously he's, military, great leader of men. And, everything he taught us on the basketball court and everything he preached into you is stuff that you needed to be successful in real life. Maybe at the time we're like, this is just to win games, but then everything he was telling us applied to real life as well. Mamba mentality back there. Yes. In theory, it's basketball games. Go as hard as you can. Compete your butt off the whole time.
You're allowed to say whatever you want on here, Alan.
Compete your butt off the whole time, whatever you want to do. But at the same time, it's no difference for real estate. That's what it is. For real estate, I apply that to real estate. If I want to go get sales, I go get sales. I go hand out my cards for 3 or 4 hours. I go, whatever I have to do to make it happen to get a deal done. Like I said, sport. The reason I love sports so much is because it applies to real life. That's really how it is. Kids that struggle, being that old quote of, uncoachable kids become unemployable adults. No, there might not be a more true quote that I've ever heard, to be honest with you, because you look at kids that get kicked off their sports teams or have disagreements with their coaches or getting fights with teammates and stuff. They usually don't pan out in real life. There's exceptions. I see you smiling. There's exceptions to the rule.
I was about to say that might have been me back in high school.
I'm not.
That might have been me. But I can speak to your point of how true that is, because I wish that was something that everybody around me, you included, knew I needed to know at that time, and I just didn't know. I wanted to be the one that wanted to argue with everybody. I couldn't be coached.
You specifically. I was going to leave it.
All of that stuff. But
he's still the one that wants to argue with everyone.
And I've realized just how much, damn, if only I would have just listened and shut the hell up and actually, been more coachable back then when I was a player and when I was in high school and had all these people trying to help me. Maybe I would have figured some things out in life a lot sooner than I have. Yeah, I figured it out, and that's the bottom line with life. You either figure it out or you don't, right? But I wish I would have taken that advice a lot sooner and been more coachable and been more open to constructive criticism and all the things that the people around you that care about you, try to use to try to help you become a better person. And when I was, 17, I was, fuck all of that. You guys are all assholes. I didn't realize until much later on just how much they really were, trying to help me. And they were right. With 90% of the stuff I was being told at the time, they were right. Yeah. But it helps with somebody like you being young enough also. You could take these kids aside and go, hey, you think this is all bullshit. Look at what I've built. Look at my real estate company. Look at what I built for myself on that end of things. Look at my basketball resume. I apply all this stuff to my life. Look how successful I am. The proof is in the pudding, as people like to say, right? That might have been an old Coach O saying. I don't know if that was a Coach Dan saying, but that might have been an old Coach O saying. He had a lot of crazy ones, right? Speaking of people that have A2D radio connections, we used to use his studio in Burlington. So it's fun. It's fun for me to have you a part of this, Alan, and I hope that what it turns into is it's a win-win on everybody's end, right? We can help each other grow from a brand perspective. You want to grow your brand, and we want to grow ours.
Absolutely, and I've seen, like, going back to what you said about Tom. He's brought this thing so far. You
remember what it was like at the beginning? Sure.
My senior year, Ed Doan, he was starting to do some of the, starting to do the play-by-plays for basketball, and I think he was doing football for another school and stuff like that. And then, of course, you were the, when we had the Doan Christmas tournament, I was the coach at Cross Christian. You were doing the play-by-play for those games, and just humble beginnings. But a lot of times, things with humble beginnings have big endings. So, like I said, looking forward, I'm glad that, like you said, we're kind of in the same spot. You're trying to grow your brand, you're trying to grow my brand.
Perfect relationship.
And it's the whole thing. So I think it's a great, like you said, great relationship. It makes sense on so many levels.
So your early thought, NBA wise, we got Jumaine's thoughts when he was talking about. He said he thought the NBA champion this year was going to be somebody that we're not really talking a lot about in the preseason.
He still thinks it's going to be an East team too.
It's so early. It's so early to really say. That's bold to go out. What are we? 4 days into the NBA season? Is that what it is? 4 days? Yeah.
4 days.
4 days in, and he's already
3 games.
Yeah, and he's already saying that someone that someone that we're not talking about. But I
think his overall thing is just that the NBA as an overall has gotten better. Like each team has improved significantly since last season, so it's gonna be good basketball to watch this year. That the overall thing is that he was getting at.
And at the end of the day,
is the one super team, Alan, where you look at and go, oh man, they're unbeatable.
If the Kyrie situation can get resolved, I would say Brooklyn.
You still think they're that good?
I do. People forget they had the Bucks beat, and then the injuries happened.
And Kevin Durant's big toe happened. And
yeah, too.
half of it's.
Yeah.
If he wears a foot, if it's an 18.5 instead of a 19, you know what I mean? Good Lord, like.
Yeah.
If the foot was a half inch smaller, it really is a different conversation. But Jumaine, I think that was kind of Jumaine's point where he felt like there was teams in the East that have gotten better too, or at least gotten better enough where maybe Brooklyn isn't head and shoulders, better than them anymore, like we thought they might be a year ago.
Yeah. Well, without Kyrie there, that's definitely true. There's no questions about that. It's wide open. You can't ever count out the defending champ. Steven, he's talking about the Knicks. I do like them. They're very young, hungry. It's too early. It's too early to really try.
Give us one favorite and one sleeper team of yours. Like, who's your favorite and who would be your sleeper?
East and the West, or just overall?
Sure, go East-West.
All right, so East, my favorite's the Nets. I think it gets resolved. I think Kyrie eventually comes back and plays basketball. I think it gets resolved however it gets resolved. And then a sleeper team. That's tough. I like Charlotte.
You like Charlotte?
I like Charlotte.
Look at this, Steven.
I like what Michael Jordan's building over there.
You know what? I've been telling Steven for a few months that I think Charlotte's really going to be under the radar this year. I'm glad. Look, this actually makes me – I'm usually wrong about the NBA, but Alan is making me feel good. All right.
I like what Jordan's building over there. So, go back. Actually, if I had a second sleeper team, I would say the Bulls too, though, for what it's worth.
Oh, the Bulls, you know what? You're right. The Bulls could be as somebody that bets on sports, I'd have to look at the line, but I bet you the Bulls are a really, really sexy, under the radar, NBA Finals pick. You're like, nobody's really talking about. Then you look at them, you know what? they're really good, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be in like that top 4 or 5 teams conversation where you're like, hey, they kind of have a formula to compete with anybody. You know, the Bucks, the Nets, like they've got that formula.
I think with the Bulls, it's going to depend on Lonzo looked good game 1. It's going to depend on what he does throughout the season. Does he take that next step to being a really, really good point guard? You know, I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar, but does he take a next step to being above average / good point guard in the NBA? If he looked really good game 1, triple double.
They have top to bottom, that roster for Chicago. I mean, it's really deep, right? I mean, you're talking about just a great roster. And I think more than anything, like we talk about like Brooklyn with the big 3, but you know what it takes to beat a team like Brooklyn is a team that is 10 guys deep, right? Because if you can get past Kyrie and Durant and Harden, all of a sudden, Brooklyn's beatable. The rest of that lineup, if you have Chicago's, bench 5 against Brooklyn's bench 5, goes every time. So I feel like that's where like these teams with depth of the team. I think that's what really helped Milwaukee was the fact that they have all that depth to go along with Giannis being a superhuman. But you look at them top to bottom, and the Suns were the same way on the Western Conference side. You're like 2 teams with a ton of depth that made runs to the NBA Finals. Maybe that's where like it's at now. Like we're finally transitioning past this idea that you have to be a super team of some kind in order to go win. If you can build a really, really good roster that's very deep with 1 or 2 superstars, Milwaukee's proven you can go win a championship with that now.
Yeah. Now you do still need a superstar. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, you need at least one, a really good one.
But that's good. That's definitely a big thing. In the West, I guess you'd call the Nuggets a favorite, right? Or would that be a sleeper team?
Yeah, you could call them a favorite.
Yeah. I like the Nuggets.
You like their roster?
I do. I think you've probably seen me post about Bones Highland. Me being a Delaware guy, he being a Delaware kid. I thought the Sixers should have traded up 2 spots and get him. I think the kid's going to be sensational in the NBA.
See, Steven, remember I was mentioning Bones Highland and the idea if you could work a Ben Simmons trade to Denver, which Denver might be one of the few organizations that look at Ben Simmons and goes, wow, he really, really helps us here. Because Jamal Murray's there and he plays, he kind of that electric, point guard that, is undersized and does a lot of different things. They've got the elite big man, obviously. What they don't have is that elite defender, which is what Ben Simmons would be for them. Contract-wise, you'd have to see if it could work, but I
still think you would need them in a second team to make the whole thing happen.
Even if you did. What they do have is they have capital.
Julio's agreeing to my point that I was talking about earlier. I think the Lakers are overrated right now.
Alan, I know you agree with that because you've never been a huge LeBron guy, and I know you think you like Russ, but Russ and LeBron, like they're too much of the same player, right? Neither one of them shoots well enough from the perimeter, and they both play with the ball in their hand. They're both ball dominant.
This is what I'll say: it's not me not being a LeBron guy. It's just Jordan's always going to be my GOAT at the end of the day. All right, LeBron's number 2.
Me and you know what I mean by saying that. You're not a LeBron hater, but
I hate LeBron. He's number 2 for me. But Jordan's always going to be the GOAT. But absolutely, Russell Westbrook and LeBron, it's not good.
I still don't get why people don't get why people like people from Jordan's generation see him in a different manner than they see LeBron. LeBron's a totally different. You can't put them in the same conversation. Like regardless if he gets over the rings or whatever. Yeah, it's not just that, but they're also different leaders. They're different men. They play different roles on the court. Like you can't sit there and have this conversation with them. Jordan's one. I guess now you could say regardless of what he does, LeBron is 1B.
Yeah,
I mean, I think you could break it down by generations a lot, and this is in a lot of sports. You know what I mean? Like to say Babe Ruth was, like you can make an argument in baseball. Babe Ruth was the best hitter of all time. No, it was Barry Bonds. No, it was Willie Mays. No, it was. And you're like, okay, like you know what? They were all so fucking good. Like, why are we sitting here trying to pit them against each other? Who's better? When you could just sit there and say, you know what? They're all goats. They're all at the GOAT status, right? They all are that good. I mean, LeBron's legacy is cemented at this point. It's he could add a couple more championships to it in LA and make it even more than what it already is. But what he is from a legacy perspective as a player, it's already cemented. It's already established. I think my point more with that, Alan, is there's certain people that you talk with about LeBron, and it's like he's some superhuman, like he can't do anything wrong. He's this perfect player, and you're well aware that LeBron has flaws and has things that can hold a basketball
team that Michael
back
didn't have
if
flaws
he doesn't
too,
have the
but
right teammates around him.
It's not saying that Michael didn't have flaws too. It's just that he was able to deal with them in different ways, where LeBron just kind of acts like they don't exist.
Yeah, LeBron's flaws hold a team back more, I think. Like Michael never held a team back with his flaws. LeBron will hold a team back with his flaws if you don't have the right supporting pieces around him. Yeah. I think that's an accurate assessment. He's not a good free throw shooter.
And I'm gonna just put it out here right now, right before we get a chance to. I want to let you guys continue to talk about it. We're gonna do the jersey giveaway for our premium members, the Otis Nixon signed jersey, in about 2 or 3 minutes. So guys, make sure if you haven't already, make sure you head over to YouTube. Hop onto the AHUD YouTube page. Go over to hit that subscribe button. Hit that premium membership. It's $9.99. Got all kinds of perks besides the giveaways. Just the betting stuff alone should get your money back within a week.
Russ got more rebounds than AD and D. Were you looking at that comment, Alan, or is that what was making you make that face?
I did see that. Yeah, that's pretty funny. But I mean, AD doesn't really play like a big man. He's more of a stretch four nowadays and whatnot. But anyway, the whole point of the LeBron thing was AD, Russ, and LeBron just aren't a good mesh together. They just aren't. The spacing is going to be terrible in today's game. It's all about spacing. That's the generation we're in. It's all about spacing. It's all about hitting shots. It's all about spacing the floor. And that's why I was never huge on Ben Simmons being our point guard either, because you have to have a point guard to shoot to be a legit contender, in my opinion.
Me and you used to have a ton of conversations with Ben saying that the only way you could win with Ben is if defensively you let him, you go mark whoever the other team's elite scorer is, that's fine. But offensively, you needed him to play as a 4 with Embiid as the 5, and then you needed to have some type of perimeter guy at the 1. And that was how you would win with Ben Simmons.
Exactly.
We were having this conversation 3 or 4 years ago, and here we are still having that same conversation where it's like at some point it seemed like that was the obvious thing to do. Embiid at the 5, Simmons at the 4, a guy like Tobias Harris playing the 3, and maybe Maxey at the 1 is perfect with a guy like Seth Curry at the 2. But they never seem to pull the trigger on that idea.
All right.
They force Ben to be the 1.
I love Maxey. That's my guy. I'm
a huge
Calipari fan. He just has a history of producing, NBA players, NBA caliber players. I think Maxey is going to be a really good player for us if we give him the chance, if we give him the keys and let him do his thing.
If the Sixers find a way to keep Simmons instead of trading him away here, I mean, maybe just because you're forced to outside of any other concept, you have to because you can't take Maxey off the court. Is this like maybe we could finally say, oh shit, whoa, look at this lightning in a bottle we've caught with this rotation of Maxey at the 1, Tobias Harris at the 3, Simmons at the 4, Embiid at the 5, and whoever the hell else playing 2, Danny Green, Seth Curry, whoever. They're forced to do that just because they have to, and they have some success with it. We were having some fun with Jumaine with the idea of the past 3 years, the Sixers have been talked about as an NBA Finals favorite. It hasn't happened. And this year, you're kind of like, they're not going to go this year. They've got all this other tension and all this inner turmoil, no chance. And what if the ironic thing about sports and the way sports always works is this is the year they make that run and find a way to go make that deep, run to the finals. And we're all laughing at the end of the year because of how everything started with Simmons looking like he was on his way out and all of this.
And speaking of going and make that run, let's do that jersey giveaway. I think I see Ralphie back there, so let's hook the fame.
Alan's going to be here for a live giveaway. Gotta love it.
Right. Yeah, right. Throw it up there. Ralphie's going to do it now.
Spin the wheel.
And this is what we're giving away right here. Nixon.
Otis Nixon. Wait, didn't he wear number 1 with the Braves?
Yeah, but this isn't that.
Of course, you've got an Otis Nixon Expos jersey.
Old school.
Worth like $1.50 on eBay.
So I guess the winner is oh man, this is gonna be fun to figure out.
Yeah, who the hell are you?
Yeah, this is This
You've got 10 minutes to show up and claim your prize, or else we're giving it to Alan.
We're gonna give it to Alan. You're crazy, man. All right. Well, we got many more stuff for that. I got next month we got the signed LeGarrette Blount Super Bowl jersey. I got some other stuff like anyone who's going to be using our codes over the next month, just shoot me some shoot me your receipt, your code, whatever. I'll enter you in the thing. We'll do some more things. I got some more stuff to give away. I got a few more interesting things for him. I think I might get a Hall of Famer from one of you guys over the next few months. We'll see. But let's get back to the basketball talk.
So to go back to what you were saying, I love that lineup. I think the biggest problem has always been is the rumor is Ben Simmons has been telling the coaching staff that he won't play anything else from the point. That's the problem.
He's not coaching.
Yeah, I love that. Now, with that being said, and I have a little bit of a coaching take here on this whole situation, and I have somebody to blame.
Get the coach's take.
I have somebody to blame, in my opinion, that's gotten to the situation to this point that isn't Ben Simmons. And I blame Doc Rivers for the situation.
I thought you were going to go Brett Brown, but okay.
No, I blame him for getting to the situation it is now. It is always going to be a problem because he's not going to – obviously Ben's not going to change. We've seen that. But my biggest problem with how Doc handled it and brought it to this point that we're at is his comments after the Atlanta game. I believe – I don't have the quote in front of me, obviously, but I believe that he was asked, do you believe –
That hurt Julio, by the way. That did hurt.
I believe that he was Doc was asked after the Atlanta game, do you believe that Ben Simmons can be a starting point guard on a championship caliber team or something along those lines? And his response was, I don't know. We need to find that out. And I knew right then and there that this situation was going to boil over. Right or wrong, if that's what you think, which is probably what we all think, we don't know that. You don't say that publicly as a coach. You never say that publicly. If you want to have a closed meeting behind the doors with Ben Simmons or your coaching staff after the season, whatever, go for it. But the better response would have been something along the lines, absolutely. Where we've been a contender these last 2 or 3 years with him as our point guard. Yes, he has some things he needs to work on and grow as a player, but we know what he can do as a great player. We know what his strengths are. We just have to work on these other things. But yes, we can be a contender with him being our point guard. Because what the situation created was everybody knew it was going to boil over when he made those comments. Everybody. He tried to, if I'm not mistaken, he tried to backtrack on him a couple days later. Is that true, right? Yeah, he kind of tried to pull it back.
He tried to put a little dirt on the fire, but didn't happen.
Yeah. And so what he did is he created a terrible situation with our GM where everyone else in the league knew that this was going to boil over. And now these are the offers we're getting for Ben Simmons, if you get where I'm getting at. So.
Yeah. I get what you're saying there, and I guess my retort to that would be the idea that I'd like to make the analogy with Ben that he's like the toddler that throws the temper tantrum, and instead of getting his ass beat, he's always been given whatever he's wanted his whole life, including with Brett Brown, who never once seemed to ever publicly hold Ben Simmons accountable or seemed to ever, there never seemed to be anything that made you seem like, hey, Ben's being, somebody's getting in Ben's face and telling him how it is during the Brett Brown regime. Not that that was happening with Doc, but if Doc's finally like, you know what, I've had enough. Listen here, you little, you know what? I'm tired of your little prima donna attitude. Get your head out of your ass and suck it the fuck up and go out there and play basketball and do what we need you to do as a team. And you're like, hey, it's Doc Rivers. He's got a championship on his resume. He's well respected around the league. If anybody can kind of pull that at it, like, you don't get your shit and I'm going to beat your ass. It's like, you're pulling the daddy role. I've got the respect and I'm daddy and I can lay down the law if I want to. And finally, somebody's threatening to lay down the law with this kid and whip his ass, which might be what he needed this entire time. I think we've all kind of realized that, like, oh, that's what happened with Jimmy Butler and the Sixers and Ben Simmons. Is Jimmy Butler was ready to beat this kid's ass in the locker room, and the Sixers couldn't really let that happen because that would have gotten ugly in a
I
hurry.
think one thing that we'll all have to agree on is this thing needs to come to an end soon.
One way or the other. It's got to come to an
Yeah,
end.
they just need to figure out where they're going with it. I mean, I kind of like the idea of Morey saying, hey, if it drags on for 4 years, it does, because that means he's trying to tell Ben Simmons, listen here, son, you ain't got any of the power here. You don't have the leverage. You don't have the power. I've got all that. You know, I'm not just going to trade you for a new sweat mop boy. Like, no, we're going to figure out how to, get what, get what's worth for you, or you could just be unhappy and it is what it is. I kind of like that, but at the same time, obviously you got to walk a fine line with that because you can, you can blow a situation up into something that is very ugly and out of control. It's kind of like a wildfire, and it just kind of spreads to the point where you're like, okay, now there's nothing we can do to contain it again. You don't want that to happen, but I'd like to trust that Morey and Rivers have kind of got enough on their resume to tell you, okay, they know what they're doing here, and I guess I'd rather them play Captain Hardass with this whole thing than any of them try to give in to Ben Simmons at this point. Like, we've done enough of coddling Ben Simmons, and powdering his butt cheeks because, he acts like a baby. Like, time for somebody to treat him like a grown man.
I wasn't saying, like I said, if you want to have the extra interview or whatever they do at the end of the season, at the Sixers, extra interview, this is what you need to get better on, this is what I need out of you next year, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to go to them, like, you have to learn to shoot the basketball, or you have to at least be willing to shoot the basketball behind closed doors.
If you're going to lay down the law, lay down the law.
Raise your voice, all that stuff behind closed doors. I don't have any problem with that. But I believe him doing that publicly in front of the media to somebody who's been coddled their whole life, like we've said, I thought the writing was on the wall that this situation is going to explode at some point.
Maybe that's what it needs, though. Like, in some ways, like maybe we just need it. Like, and what's it? And like almost like what we've read over the past week. Like, it's gotten to a point where, like, it blew up enough in the locker room where Embiid said, we're done babysitting him, and then they apparently had a conversation as a team where they all worked it out, and now he's still one of our brothers, and it's like, you never know what got hashed out behind closed doors, but maybe it's good for it to get to such a point where, it's such an ugly situation with the team behind closed doors that they had no choice but to hash it out and say, hey, let's, everybody, how do you guys feel about this? And everybody kind of got everything off their chest. This is how we feel. Ben gets his point out. Everybody kind of, okay, maybe we agree, maybe we disagree, maybe we agree to disagree, whatever, but this is what was needed to get this moving, at least in a positive direction to resolve it.
And real quick, I want to address Julio's question right here. Julio, by the way, Miami isn't playing Milwaukee tonight. Milwaukee's playing the Spurs tonight, and Miami lost to the Pacers in overtime. So just getting to you there, brother.
I mean, Julio, I don't smoking some good stuff or something over there. I'm not sure what's going on with him. The Heat, I thought, that would be a team. It's like every time somebody says, oh, who's going to be a sleeper? Well, it's Miami, right? I mean, like Pat Riley, like
sleeper, is
Eric
it?
Spoelstra's, like, they're always competitive, but losing to the Pacers early isn't a good look. It's really bad.
Eric Spoelstra's a great coach. He always gets the best out of Miami.
Yeah, that just seems though like that's just their thing, their MO, right? Like it's kind of like the Spurs the same way. Like, you can count every single year on teams like that, organizations like that.
And like you said, then you have, not only is he a great coach in the NBA, but then you have a guy that's overseeing you that is a Hall of Fame, once in a lifetime kind of coach in Pat Riley overseeing you as well. So you got to know, even though he's player personnel, GM, whatever he is, he's giving Eric Spoelstra coaching ideas. You got to know.
I wonder how Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley and Greg Popovich and coaches like that would handle this Ben Simmons situation. You want to talk about speaking publicly? I feel like Greg Popovich would have a thing or two to say publicly about this whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh man, I can only imagine how like Pat Riley or Chuck would deal with this. Holy crap!
Well, you know what the thing is they probably would never put themselves into this situation to begin with. If we're being honest,
right? As soon as he came in and he was like that, they would have adjusted that real quick.
Yeah, I mean that would have been fixed right away, or they would have found a way to been like, hey, you're never getting an extension. He would have been whatever. They would have never put themselves in this situation because they would have understood the cause and effect of all of it, because that's what good organizations do. we've kind of made our bed with this one, and in some ways, it's what else are you going to do except?
Yeah, you got to eat this. You got to eat this crap cake that you guys made for yourself.
Almost, yeah.
But let's get ready to kind of wrap this up. We're already a few over it. My dog's over here letting me know, like, hey, dude, I got to go out, man. What's going on here? What are you doing?
Past Alan's bedtime, right, Alan?
Yeah. I got to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning.
Yeah, right. Well, what I typically do with all the guests, man, I kind of throw the floor over to you, man. Anyone you would like to thank, anyone you want to, shoot out some social sites, let everyone know like where they can follow, keeping up with what's going on with you, and shoot out EXP again. And let the fans know, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys having on. Like I said, I think this is a great relationship. Can't wait to keep it going and everything, and. Anyone looking to buy, sell, invest, whatever the case may be, I can help all of your have all your needs taken care of. I was actually able to help even Steven this week a little bit, I think. So, we'll that's all I got really. I mean, I appreciate you guys having on and keep going the relationship. So.
Is there a Facebook page, an Instagram page, not an Instagram obviously, but a Facebook page, a Twitter page, anything like any type of, career page, that they can reach out and find you for EXP?
I mean, obviously you can go see my, personal Facebook page, Alan J. Foy, or Buy and Sell with Alan is my realtor Facebook page.
Buy and Sell with Alan.
Yep. Is my realtor Facebook page, my business Facebook page. But I post it all. I blow everything. Everything you see on my personal Facebook page for real estate's always on there too. So it's vice versa. I put it everywhere. So I put it all.
So make sure they go follow you on Facebook.
Yep.
Get everything there, and then they'll be able to see all of the EXP information, all of the basketball information when it comes to Bordentown, all of it.
Yep. Big social media guy.
Now here's your information down the bottom.
I don't spend too much on social media.
So. Yeah, I know. Okay. I get the same one too, man. Not from my kids, my girl, my mom. You got to put the phone down. You got to. It's hard sometimes.
302-682-8820. That's still you. That's your number. That's the contact information, right?
Yeah.
Alan.foy@exprealty.com.
And to put some insight to it, Alan's definitely helping me out with something right now. I had a situation, with my mom's house. She had someone reach out to us and just dragging their feet. So, got to call the professionals in to get it situated.
There you go. See, exactly.
Yep. Glad to help. That's what we do.
Appreciate the time, appreciate the love and the help as always, Alan. We'll definitely work out, doing this on a semi-regular basis, having some sit downs, having some talks and, connecting a little bit more, my friend.
No, definitely. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, you do. Have a good one, Alan.
Yep.
All right, everyone. That was our good friend, Alan Foy. And, obviously, our sponsor here over at the Weekly Roundup and here at HUD Radio. Another fun one, man.
He sounds like he could be one of us, doesn't he? Like, he almost sounds like it's like he's just that much of a normal dude. Yeah. That's what I love about him. And I tried to tell people that, like, he is that much of just a normal, genuine, down-to-earth dude. And you're like, wow, like, you sell real estate for a living? Like, you don't come across as that type of person at all. You know what I mean? Like, they usually give you that used car salesman feel to him. And he's just not that. Like, he's just such a genuine person.
Yeah, today was a definitely fun one, man. Like, appreciate, Otis's time. Obviously he had something going on. We've been trying to hook that one up. I've been trying to do that one for over a month, dude. Finally was able to. And listen, it worked out perfect, with the Braves games. It's 1-1 right now. Obviously, had some fun with Jumaine too. Like, it's crazy, both of them kind of doing their things. We just missed Alan. He was about to walk out to do some ceremony at the stadium. Then we have Sean. He's getting ready to fly out to Russia. Brought Alan on. A great show. Talk some basketball. Talk some accountability. We gotta see an end of it. We have to see an end of it.
What is going on with the Braves Dodgers game? The Braves are up 4-1, right? So,
last I seen it was 1-1. They changed that fast. Wow.
Yes, the Braves are now up 4-1, unless the Dodgers have got it back closer. But yeah, it's there about to be a lot of happy people down here in the state of Florida, and I know a lot of Braves fans down here.
Yeah, I think it it does flow into parts of Florida too, because the Marlins really hasn't kind of endured themselves to the state of Florida quite yet.
The Braves were always the team of the South for the most part back when they had their dynasty going. Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, Florida, all of it. Like I know so many people that are in their mid-40s, slightly older than that I umpire with that are just hardcore Braves fans because of all those years of greatness. Riley almost let one go. Oh, okay, well.
Oh, I'm gonna get ready to put a bow on this one. We're quite a few minutes over. We started a few minutes late. Let's
That's what happens when you're having a good time.
Yeah, we'll be back for Mischief Night next week, October 30th.
Every night is Mischief Night here on fucking a weekly roundup.
Hey, listen, I had a rough week, man. This show always make sure we always have some fun with it, man. It was a good one. Appreciate Julio hopping in here too. Appreciate everyone. We're gonna keep doing our thing, man. Make sure you guys are keeping up to date with everything we're doing. Like, subscribe, make sure you're a premium member so you can get some awesome merch, discounted giveaways, all of that stuff, man. I'm Steve. He's Zach. This is another episode of the Weekly Roundup. We'll see you next Saturday, same time, same place. Peace out.